Hey, Bill.
Welcome back to my world.
Thank you so much. Yes, that's so good, so great, and really nice to talk to you again. Um,
Well, I enjoyed the earlier conversation we had, and I thought, well, I got this time period between getting my face torn up a couple weeks ago, and in future they're going to tear up my face again. I figured, well, I got 3 or 4 weeks here in the middle. I might as well make hay right where the sun is shining, as they say in the farm country. So
that's
we
great.
could do things. And I thought
Absolutely.
about when we talked, uh, since Ananda people, self-realization people, people that are into meditation and yoga and stuff, energy and healing and light, all these things kind of joined together. And I thought we'd kind of layer the pieces together because especially since COVID started, I'm getting contacted daily, numerous emails. In fact, I'm getting so many emails, I fall behind. I can't respond to people very quickly. Um, People are hurting. They're hurting physically, mentally, and spiritually. And we discussed this before, that everybody's always thinking the guru, the teacher, the healer is out there. And I'm trying to tell people, well, yes and no. In reality, there is no outside of you. Everything is within you. God is in everything and everybody, therefore, the whole universe. God, everything is within you already. You have everything you need. It's just a matter of recognizing that and realizing that. So I posted a video this year when I broke my teeth. I mean, what a stupid subject, right? And I thought, well, when I broke them, I broke 3 teeth, split them. I split 2 of them in half, and part of the teeth, because I had the X-ray, was jammed down into the gum itself.
Oh,
So to say it was painful experience, yes, it was very painful. And in the United States during COVID time, very hard to get appointments to see a dentist. Everybody put everything off that everybody wanted to get it, and unless you had a regular dentist, you weren't getting. So I bit into a date, this fruit, a date, from a palm tree,
yeah.
and it was supposed to be pitted. It was supposed to be no pit. Well, there
Okay.
was pit in this, and of course it cracked and broke
Wow.
3 teeth. And so I was a great amount of pain. I go, wow, so I tried calling every dentist in town, got on the recorder. Don't call us, we'll call you. Nobody called me back for 3 days.
Wow.
I finally got a hold of one guy. I called him in his emergency number. He was asleep. I go, I said, I can't eat, I can't sleep. I said, my teeth. Okay, so he brought me in. He said, I don't know if I can work on them right away, but I'll take a look at it. So I go in there and he looks at it and he goes, yep, I can confirm you got 3 broken teeth. And then he stops. And I go, yes, and I probably can see you in 3 months to fix it. And I said, well, what part of eating and sleeping and pain did you not get? He goes, well, I'll try to squeeze you in. But so I left that office and I went home and I said, well, I can take care of some of this myself. And I remember when I lived in Hawaii, I was 18 years old, and I was studying the Kahuna religion with David K. Bray. He was a Kahuna, kind of like a shaman.
Mhm.
But it was the ancient religion of Hawaii, which deals with energy and light, and believe it or not, self-love. And part of the philosophy of the Hawaiian religion was every part of you will respond to both love and anger and hate. So which door do you want to open? So if you have a pain, you can either hate it or you can embrace it and love it. When you hate the pain, you increase the intensity of it, you feed it negatively, and it grows. That's why in this country years ago, and the president gets up, we have a war on drugs. We're gonna have a war on poverty. Well, just the language of that, nothing's going to happen.
Everything's a war. Yeah.
Everything's war. And so the philosophy that I was taught when I was 18 was, if you got cancer, love it. If you got a part of your body hurting, love it. The whole thing was to love you and forgive you. I mean, if if something happened to your body, you're sorry you did it, whatever it was, whether it's karma or some accident or whatever, you did it, and apologize. I'm sorry to my teeth, So I did this. I put my hands on my face, and I had this inner mantra was, I love you, meaning not you, but me, right? I love me. I love you. And I love my teeth. And as crazy as that sounds, and I kept that up for about 2 minutes. I love you. And I forgive myself. I forgive me for breaking these wonderful teeth. And I'm grateful to my teeth for all the love and service they give me. As soon as I stopped that, and I was doing it right here in this chair, I realized there was no pain. That excruciating pain, and I'm talking a tooth right in the nerve, gone.
Oh.
Okay. And dentist hadn't done anything. In fact, when the dentist took the x-rays, it was a Friday, I went in, took the x-rays and looked at it. He told me, we're gonna have to pull 2 teeth, maybe 3, at least 2 root canals. That doesn't sound fun, but that's what he said. I go, well, whatever you got to do. I trust the universe. Whatever happens, happens, right?
Yeah.
So after I did this and my pain was totally gone, I called up a friend, Steve, in London. And I had him on a screen like this. And I was talking to him. And I told him the story. I said, here's all I did. I demonstrated to him. And he was really quiet. I got to go. And he left, right? A few days later, I found out that he had like 5 or 6 teeth that were major, that had to be pulled. And it was a major dental pain. And me telling him that, he got rid of the pain. A few hours, a couple hours later, he was pain-free. I thought, well, that was interesting. Then I called this woman on the East Coast of America, and I told her the story. Her just listening to the story, and she hung up on me. And she had shoulder pain that she had for like a decade, at least 10 years. And she said the pain, half the intensity. It was half gone.
Oh.
So I had one that was no pain, one that was half.
Wow.
So I'm looking at this thing, looking at it, and from subsequent people talking to me, it was their buy-in, their believability, their acceptance of this can happen. Again, the healer's within, it's them.
Mm-hmm.
And how sincere they are, and how doubtless they are. In other words, there's people that are doubtful, and there's people that have no doubt. They're doubtless. And I found that those that were open like children and didn't laugh at the idea, tell your teeth you love a teeth, it worked for them. So I went the next week. I had to wait 3 months to get this fixed. We're like, oh, okay, whatever it is, I just gave it to God. And I also had this problem with my face cancer. I had cancer, and they pulled 9 tumors out of my face, and I was getting treatments with ultraviolet light, blue light, and I just had a treatment, and I had to go 72 hours without any light on me. I mean, I really had a hood on. I was in the house. I didn't go outside. I didn't screens on a TV or a computer, because it would burn. I would get a sunburn because it treated you. So keeping that in mind, I get a call the following week from the dentist's office saying, we can't get you in until about 70 some hours. How about 3 days from now? Can you come in? And I just had the treatments that day. I go, that works perfect. I didn't have to, so it was perfect. And then they go, well, since you're not a regular patient here and don't have insurance, we'd like to have $650 cash. I said, don't worry about it. I told my wife, she goes, really? I go, yeah, it'll happen. We'll have it. So the day before I go to the dentist office, I go online. I get a message from India. This lady I was helping her with her family, and she sends in through my PayPal account $500.
Oh,
Just didn't ask for it, but you could probably use this. I'm thankful. Spend it as you like. So I go 500. Oh, okay,
wow.
that's cool. And then when I got the mail that morning, just before I got to the dentist, somebody had sent me $150. And I'm going, that's $650. That's exactly what I need. I walk in the dentist's office, I go, boom, here you go, no problem, right? All right. So the dentist calls me in, and there's two dentists because they expected this could be a big job. It's going to take two of us because this, we're going to tire out. We got root canals to do. We got teeth to pull. We got crowns to make. We got all this stuff. And I go, well, whatever you got to do, doctor. So I'm sitting in the chair. I take my little earphones. I plug them into my iPhone, playing the Beach Boys, relaxed. And then I put my phone video on because I wanted to see what they were doing, with the needles going in and all that cool stuff, fascinating. Makes the dentist nervous, Anyway, so this thing goes, and next thing you know, they're done, less than an hour. And the guy goes, oh, well, I'm sorry. I was expecting to hear something negative. I'm sorry, I didn't have to do any root canals. I said, well, okay, that's good. Thank you. He says, I didn't pull any of your teeth. I said, well, that's good. He says, in fact, I was able to fix everything and no crowns through some, he just uses, he tried to explain to me what he did. I have no clue.
Yeah.
All I know is those teeth on the Friday before were not repairable. They were damaged goods. And somehow, by loving my teeth, they became very repairable.
Wow.
It didn't need root canals. They didn't have to be pulled. And they were just fixed with a simple procedure.
Wow. That's
Okay.
awesome. Awesome. Yeah.
So I thought, well, this is kind of neat. So I made a video talking about this whole thing, this whole process of self-love. We can go over here again.
Okay.
And I posted it. And within the first several days, dozens and dozens of people responding to private messages. It works. Blah, blah, blah. I was all happy. People were following my stuff. It works, right? Because, I like to teach people to fish instead of have to give them fish, right? And then I find out that about half of them, they got healed just watching the video. They didn't do anything. Well, I just watched the video. I felt good, right? I said, okay, all right. But ultimately, it was still them that were doing the healing.
Exactly.
Whether they think it was from watching the video or whatever, they were receptive. So this brings up a whole concept about energy, light, and love. It really is all one. And all injuries, all diseases, all illnesses, whether it's mental, physical, or spiritual, respond to love. And I put that to a test about a month later. I had come back and I just had some more tumors removed from my face. I had 68 or 70 stitches over here. And it was, really painful. I finished it and I left the office. I didn't want no pain meds and it was painful going home. And I was sitting there and I'm going, well, I don't have to do this. I just go, I love you. That's it. One time, I love you. Pain gone.
Wow.
So around that same time period, I had trouble with my back, osteoporosis, and my back, all the vertebrae collapsed. I lost 1.5 inches, just boom, and I had bone on bone. The back was just, there was nothing space in between it. Very painful to walk, to sit, to lay, to stand, to whatever you did. It was just terrible. But I remembered I just took care of this and I just took care of this. So I just laughed. I was sitting right here. I just laughed. And I go, I don't have to do anything. Boom. All the pain in my back, 100% gone. It's gone to this day. Now the back is still bone on bone, still a mess. I didn't fix it.
Yeah.
But I'm walking. and I don't feel nothing. Right?
Yeah.
So at what level people enter this really depends on their beliefs, their faith, their trust in the universe. So I start with people when I'm trying to teach people to heal. We're going to talk about teaching people to heal.
Okay.
And I'm talking about heal yourself first. Okay. You have to establish a couple of things. Number one, that when you pray and ask for things, that is a total lack of trust in the divine to provide you what you need. In other words, I need a job. I cure this. I need a car. I need whatever it is. The Santa Claus list. People go into prayer, and they're always asking for stuff. Now, in my world, I look at absolutely everything that happens to me as not good. It's not bad. It's just stuff.
Yeah.
So for example, when I broke my teeth, all right, it's a gift. In my mind, that's a gift. And people were like, what do you mean that's a gift? The back, that's a gift. Yeah, and taking the cancer out of my face, it's all a gift. What do you mean? I said, you got to look what it's going to give you and teach you. And all these things that happen to me always end up with a great, beautiful story that goes with them. It's like, oh, and oh, it works.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So it's not your enemy you're fighting. It's like the cancer in my face. It's not my enemy. I take what it says in the Bible, love your enemy, right? Love your enemy. What does that mean? So cancer's acting like an enemy, but I'm going to love my enemy. And I'm going to love my broken tooth. And I'm going to love whatever other things I'm going through. I'm going to love it. I'm not going to fight it. Again, when you fight something, you're increasing the energy in that responding back to you. So whatever you give out, you get back. So if you're angry at the cancer, you got an angry cancer coming back at you.
Exactly.
And this is stupid philosophy, but if people are really, if they just take all their adult thinking, set it aside, and be childlike for a minute, and just realize what you give, you get. So if you give love to yourself, love is coming back at you. You don't tell God, fix the teeth, fix the cancer, take this away, take that. I figure whatever happens to me is a gift from the divine. Now, if it's a gift from the divine, I can't sit here and say, oh, it's wonderful. You gave me money and good food and a nice house, but I don't want this cancer. I don't want this. I don't want that. You're telling God what you want, what you don't want.
Yeah.
My premise is this: God knows what I need. What I want's got nothing to do with anything. That's But I trust. I don't have to ask God. I need food. God knows I need food. I don't have to ask God, hey, look, I'm in pain, take it away. I don't have to ask for anything. To ask is a total lack of faith. And that's what they don't understand. Faith is saying, God knows what I need. And God, just give me what I need. Now, if you want to pray for something, pray for courage, pray for wisdom, pray for peace, calmness. And in other words, ask for the tools. But don't say, take away these burdens, take away my karma, right?
Yeah.
First off, by going through these hurts and these injuries and these things in your life, you have to look at that as a cleansing of your karma. You're getting rid of things. So it's all right. Rejoice. Hey, something happened. All right, let's get rid of it. That's karma going, right?
Yeah.
Now, you and I both know, because we both practice Kriya Yoga, that when you practice Kriya Yoga, you're actually lessening your karmic debt. You can wipe out debt a little bit on this side. So instead of the example they give in Self-Realization Fellowship, instead of you getting consumed in a fire and dying, Babaji burns your hand with a stick, right?
Yeah.
So you got a blister, right? You still got the karmic debt, but the degrees will change through meditation and prayer. So when you want to heal the world, or you want to heal your family, look within. Heal yourself first. Why? Number one, everything's in you, nothing's outside of you. But number two, you can't give to others what you don't have for yourself. If you don't fully love yourself and forgive yourself and are grateful for all you have, you can't give those gifts away.
Yeah, exactly.
But when you love yourself, you're setting into motion great healing on every level. Everybody go, oh, physical, then we concentrate on the physical. But you and I both know, even though we have a lifetime warranty on this body, when you're done with it, who wants it, right?
Yeah.
So, but spiritual healing, mental, emotional healing, these are the important things in your life. So people are always praying for the physical healing. Work on your spiritual. Because ultimately the common denominator in all disease, mind, body, spirit, so is a spiritual disease caused by your karma, caused by your thinking, caused by your actions, what you read, what you think, what you do, who you associate with, all these things added together. And then plus there's a group karma thing, where there's things happen in the environment and stuff. But one never knows when you're burning your karma, or for those highly evolved beings like Yogananda or St. Francis of Assisi or Jesus or whoever, some great ones out there. You look at them and go, how come they're sick? How come you think they're burning their karma? Come on. I mean, take a look at all these great saints that have, really suffered in the last few years. It's got nothing to do with their karma. Jesus didn't have karmic debt to be nailed onto a cross, right? So you can't judge anybody's illness. You don't know where it's coming from or why. And sometimes highly evolved spiritual people, or people that want to be highly evolved spiritual people, they'll ask for a full plate full. Give me all the karma you can. I want to wipe out as much as I can. And people will load up their plate. I mean, they just have things after things. You go, oh my God, look at this guy. Everything happens to this guy, right?
Yeah.
They ask for it. They want to move along quickly. So start with the self. So if you have a family member that's sick, just by you working on your own vibration, your own light. In other words, when you love yourself and add to that, makes it even more powerful, add to that Kriya Yoga or Hamsa yoga or whatever you're going to do, Hamsa, Om technique. There's hundreds of techniques out there.
Yeah.
But the ones that move Kundalini energy will increase this power to visualize, feel, and to extend that love to yourself and to others. The idea is when you truly love yourself, you're actually increasing the light and the vibration of your very spirit, your aura and everything else. And so as you increase your vibration, you're around others. It's like tuning fork, You take one and you go ding and go dee, and then there's other tuning forks out there that are in tune with that, has the right frequency. It'll harmonize with it, right? It'll make sound You do that, you raise your energy levels, and it will have an effect on those people around you, physically, mentally, and spiritually. Lectures, all this other stuff, none of these things work on changing people. If it did, everybody go to church and they get a sermon, they'd come out better, right? Nobody is. Yeah. They're inspired for 10 minutes, half hour, maybe.
Yeah.
But when you take the responsibility for the world and everything around you here, and you take care of you, it will affect everybody else in your sphere of influence. And that's why it's important, just worldwide, that we do help our brothers and do help our sisters. We're all kind of together like a big group coming into this life. There's groups, right?
Yeah.
This generation comes and runs it to the same people they've been running into for thousands of lifetimes, right? Because they got things to interact. Very seldom would you really bump into somebody that's a total stranger. You're involved with these people because you got karma with these people.
Yeah. Exactly.
Especially if it's somebody that's your enemy or your family member, which could also be your enemy. The way families are. So you get thrown together to work things out. So ultimately, everything in this life can be narrowed down to this. It is all about healing. And as soon as you realize that it's all healing, spiritual, mental, physical, it's all healing. That's when you start to change. That's when you really start to evolve. It's the light, the energy, and everything. So, a couple simple techniques. This is the Hawaiian method: is love yourself, be grateful, apologize, be sorry for anything you've done. Because sometimes there's things you don't feel like you've done anything, and people are mad at you, and things you upset somebody. You know what? There's a part of you should just say, "I'm sorry, I upset that person." You don't have to take any guilt on, but you truly are sorry they're upset, so you can help refocus. Because if people make you angry or remorseful or feel guilty or any of these negative things, then you've given up control of yourself. And the opposite of that is people like, oh, I love her, she completes me. Well, whatever that means, you should be a complete thing yourself, right?
Yeah.
If somebody else has got to come into your life to make you whole, well, then you probably shouldn't have a relationship with this person because you're not ready. So, healing, that's the Hawaiian technique. Okay. Then there's something I learned by using, and you'll understand this, the people watching this will. People undersell the value of the recharging exercises that you do before meditation.
Yeah.
Put into full power, energized use, those become tools for physical healing. They really can. There's dynamic tension when you tighten up something, you focus on that and release it. So I realized that when I was young. And when I got out of the hospital, I told you I was in a hospital a year. And I came out and I had an experience with me and my mother with angels. I'll tell you that. And then it deals with the healing of a dog. So here's how it went. I come out and my mother and I were in the home, and there was this loud choir. It sounded like the Mormon tabernacle or choir, whatever you say. Well, it sounded like one of these big church choirs.
Yeah.
It was beautiful, feminine voices. It was just it was just no matter what room you walked into the house, the volume was the same. No television was on, no record player, no radio was playing. We went outside, you could still hear it. We walked down the end of the street, we could still hear it. No matter where we went in the neighborhood, my mother and I could hear these choir, beautiful voices. And finally, my mother goes, well, it's obviously it's angels singing, right? So we just sat and listened for about an hour, just beautiful music. Next day, got a little dog, and it runs outside, and it runs out of the street, gets hit by a car going about 40, 45 miles an hour. Little dog boom, flies through the air, and it's just laying on the asphalt. It looked like it was it was near death. I went out and I picked it up and I brought it in. I had it on my lap. The thing was really bad. You could tell it had broken bones and everything. Then I remember about the power and the healing from doing dynamic tension. And I had a dream about focusing energy through the crown chakra and bringing light through my body. I don't know where it came from, but it was a dream I had when I was a kid. And I saw the energy coming out of my hands. So I took and I shut my eyes. I put my hands on the dog and I visualized white light penetrating my crown chakra, going down through the spiritual eye and the throat chakra and lighting up my spinal cord, and then coming out like a charge of electricity into my fingertips. And I put my hands on the dog and I visualize this light. And at the same time I'm touching the dog, I'm just tightening up, just like you're doing the recharging exercises.
Yeah.
It just tightened up, and I just, like, for about a minute or so, I'm just that dynamic tension with the visualization of the light, the white light. And I sent this energy into the dog. Pretty soon the dog, after a couple of minutes, jumps up, runs around the house, and
Wow.
never had. That was it. He was electrified by this. but it was a combination of self-realization fellowships, recharging exercises,
Yeah.
and my adaption of this light and visualization process. And I put the two together. Later on, when my daughter was, she was in college, I guess. I was in Washington, D.C. She was at Lake Tahoe up in Squaw Valley. And she was with some friends and they were going on this slope at night. Went into the ski place when it was closed. And there was this, real Olympic type downhill there. She's not a downhill skier. And she skis down and boom, she has an accident. Her knee just goes. So she calls me, Dad, I broke my knee. Knee's really bad. I said, well, don't let him do anything. Well, I'm going to go to the doctor. So she goes to the doctor and doctor says, oh, this is bad. I'm going to have to operate. I want to operate on this. There's a bunch of broken stuff in there. And I said, so she called me up and I was out of state. I go, no, have put a soft cast on it and you wait till I get home. But you're not gonna be home for a week or two. I said, trust me, you don't need surgery. But Dad, the doctor saw us. Here's the x-ray. I said, just wait. So I came home. I had her come over and I went into my meditation room. I had her lay down on a carpet. And I used that same thing that I used on the dog. Right? And I had her lay there and she had a picture of Yogananda she was holding on to, I think. And then I just did the same thing on her knee, the dynamic tension, visualizing light and energy in there. And boom, I was exhausted. I mean, I was really exhausted. I was sweating. It was just really crazy energy. Boom, she gets up, she walks around, end of story, nothing, right? So she goes back to the doctor the next week. The doctor goes, well, we must have made a mistake in the diagnosis because there's nothing wrong on this x-ray, the new one, right?
Yeah.
She says, well, the old one short I needed. We misread it. We don't believe in miracles. So she comes home and says, well, Dad, you didn't do anything. They say there was nothing wrong with it. I said, okay. So that afternoon, she's walking down the stairs in this house. And she takes a fall. Let's put this on pause. I got to put some medicine in my wife's eye.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, of course. Take your time.
Okay. Okay. Got interrupted there. Had to take care of something. But anyway, so she gets up, she comes home, and she's like doubtful now. Like, well, did this really happen, or are we just lucky? Whatever. And so she's going down the stairs, and she fell. And I had a foster child here that was living in our house, and he calls me, "Oh, Mr. McDonald, your daughter's fell down the stairs." And anyway, when I got there and I touched her knee, the kneecap would just go, and you could feel all kinds of parts. I mean, it was worse than it was before. I said, okay, come on to the bed. So we go to do the same process all over again, except this time I planted a suggestion. I said, you doubted what happened last time. This time, 90% of the pain will be gone right away and you'll be able to walk around, but you're going to slightly feel a little something for several months and then it'll all be gone. That's exactly what happened. Got up, she was able to walk and it was, 90% of the pain was gone, but just enough to remind her what happened was real. But also by planning that suggestion, get into the self-healer. She accepted the fact, well, it's only going to be 90%, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sorry I experimented with her, but it was a lesson. It was like, no, this really happened. There we are, right? So, but I use that same technique with the visualization and the dynamic tension. My mother-in-law, she was in the hospital in a coma. She'd been in a coma for 10 days or something. She was in the process of dying. She had some kind of brain seizure or something anyway. And so it was zero hope. But I wanted to say goodbye to her, and make sure we were doing the right thing for her. And so I did the same exact thing. I just grabbed her head, did the dynamic tension, the light and everything. And boom, she shot up, sat up in the bed, opened her eyes, turned and looked at me. Then we said we loved her. She closed her eyes, back on a pill, and she died the next day. But I've done this with other people in comas. It's that white light energy. Now, did I try to save her from her fate? Try to heal her? No, I needed to communicate with her. And this other lady I did it with, former neighbor. She was in the hospital right around Christmas time, and she was dying of cancer. And her big regret was her first grandkid was going to be born like that week or something, and she wanted to meet the grandkid and spend Christmas with everybody and everything. So she was in a coma, and I did the same thing. She came up, she stayed awake. She was discharged from the hospital the next day. She lived 3 weeks, no problems, and then she died. But she got to meet her grandchild. She got to spend Christmas with her family. She got to say goodbye. Boom. So I didn't interfere with her karma. I didn't feel like I had permission to do that. And again, life or death is God's decision, not mine. But I wanted her to get that last little wish. So that's a couple examples of how this thing works, from dogs to done it for cats. I've done it for other dogs. It's all about energy and love. I also have done it without the dynamic tension for a dog. I had my daughter's dog, a boxer, and it was not doing well at all. No energy. It was comatose, wasn't eating, not anything. And I just spent 3 hours of loving massage, just petting and massaging this dog, and then there it is. So love works even on a pet. They don't need words.
Yeah.
They feel love. And a human love will really, that's a big thing for an animal. So love, light, tension, visualization, all these things work together as healing techniques. But when you're healing and you're trying to save the world, realize that there's other laws at effect. You can't just indiscriminately go out there and heal people. If you're a doctor, that's your job. People come to you. That's okay karma. But if you're using this other source, for example, story I was told in India, this guru, guy came to him and I want to change my life around. He was really a bad guy and everything, I'll change him. I'm going to follow you. I'm going to follow God. It's all this good stuff, right? Just heal me, save me from dying. So the guru did. And months after the fact, where the guy would have already been dead like 6 months, about a year later, the guy drunk and driving, and he kills a whole family of people on the highway. Now, the natural law of that karma, he would have been dead, that wouldn't have happened. So the fact that the guru gave him an extension, that guru's got to bear responsibility for that karma, part of it. Now, if the guy comes back and does beautiful things, well, then great, he gets that good karma. So that's why you can't just go around and say, I'm a healer, and just indiscriminately start doing things for people. Now, when I was in India, I was talking to Growenoff, and he was talking about he had a guy come to him and grab onto him because the guy believed he grabbed onto him to be cured. And the guru wasn't ready for it, didn't put up a white light of protection. You hear that all the time. And the guy was trying to get rid of an ulcer, cured the guy's ulcer, boom. But guess a few weeks later, we had the ulcer, the guru, really bad.
Wow.
So when you're taking on healing, you're also taking on the possibility of taking on some of that karma and the disease and everything else. So to heal or not to heal is not such a simple yes or no thing. There really has to be a degree of wisdom involved. You cannot just go out there and save the world. Saving spiritual health always more important. You cured somebody's body, they're dead. What good did that do? They got old. They got a different body next time. But if you can help them resolve emotional, spiritual issues, you help somebody that's suicidal. You help somebody that You teach somebody to meditate. You teach somebody to love. You teach goodness and kindness. Those will feed a soul. Those qualities will be carried forth the next lifetimes. All good things. So healing with wisdom. Not everybody comes to you and oh, heal me. No.
Yeah.
People get so, and to advertise yourself as a healer, again, we talk about this. The healer is within them. It's God. It's the creative force. Some of us are able to focus the energy and focus the light, but the best we're really doing is just like a pipe. We're moving in water.
Redirecting. Yeah.
Yeah, it's them.
Exactly.
Because you could be a great quote unquote healer and you got all this, you're ready to do all your part, but the other people don't believe. They don't accept it. They've got a wall. Not much, it's very hard to heal somebody who doesn't want to be healed of mental illness, physical illness, spiritual ignorance, all those things. What's interesting, I work with veterans worldwide, and PTSD, post-traumatic stress syndrome, is a, it's a big bad thing out there. And these guys, they get messed up from the war and everything. But there's this belief out there that once you got it, it's not curable. No, you can't cure it. No, I got it forever. And there it is. I said, well, do you believe in the Bible? They go, yeah. Well, Jesus cured blind man. That guy's blind for life, and now he can see. Well, it makes you think God or the God creator within you couldn't cure PTSD. There's nothing that's impossible. But if you're going to spend your whole life, oh, I'm sick, I better go find a cure. I better go find a magic pill or a herb or a spice or a person. Yeah. Live your life. If you spend your whole time, I've seen people, they got 3 years left to live, and they spend that whole 3 years focused on themselves. Treatments, going to see the God of Jesus, whatever he was, in Brazil, and all these other people, and Philippine islands where people do this psychic surgery and all this other garbage. I'm going, come on. Spend time with your family. Meditate. Spend time helping others. But the mind is such that if a doctor tells you got 6 months to live, almost everybody will live 6 months or less. They accept it. Yeah. Doctors just throwing a number out there. I mean, they don't. Yeah, I think that's an educated guess, but it's like,
yeah.
There was a American author, and I can't remember his name, but it was back in early 1900s, I think, or 18, yeah, around there. And this guy, he went to the doctor and he had brain cancer, and they said, it's terminal. You got maybe 6 months. And the guy goes, I always wanted to write a book. This is a gift, right? So he sits down and he whips out this book and becomes a bestseller. And he's still alive and he's still functioning. So, well, I'm going to write another book. 30-something books later, 3 decades later,
yeah,
the guy finally dies. He didn't focus on the number, but he used that death, the termination, the date, right? The date you're going to be. He used that as a motivational. I better get going. I always want to do this. Let's get it done. So that's why I tell people, don't go chasing the cure sometimes. Become more loving. I had a guy come to me who was not well liked by anybody, including his family. He hadn't spoken to his family in years, hadn't spoken to his children or his ex-wives, multiple, 2 or 3. And people that worked for him in his company didn't like him. He was a terrible boss. He was mean. He was nasty. Nothing good qualities about him that anybody would say. But he come to me, Rev Bill, yeah, I know you're a healer and all that stuff. I said, no. I said, I'm not going to take away your gift. What gift? I said, you're given this gift. You know how much time you got. This is when you focus your life and realize you only have so much of it left. Make amends. Go make apologies. Go make things right. fix your relationships. You haven't talked to your children. You haven't talked to your wife. Go. Just make good with God. Make peace with yourself. So he wasn't happy with that, but he left. And about 6-8 months later, I run into the family, and they told me that he died. They said, "Yeah, but he really was a changed guy." I go, "What do you mean?" He says, "Man, he got back into our lives. He was there for the kids. He was there financially in all kinds of ways. We didn't even know he was sick. He never told them. He wasn't looking for sympathy. Never told them he was dying. He just died one day." Right?
Oh,
So he really did it the right way. In other words, had he told them and they felt sorry for him, and then, but he didn't. He just, "What do you need? How can I help you?" And he listened. So there's a case where the guy getting a terminal illness was a blessing, because we're all looking at spiritual stuff, right? I mean, everybody's going to die. I mean,
yes.
even Elvis Presley died. Come on, everybody go.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not Elvis. All right, but so he took that and he followed my advice. It was a gift. And I try to tell people, whatever comes to you, it's your judgment that makes it whatever it is. If you judge this cancer to be your enemy and it's a terrible thing and it's horrible, and every day you get up and you complain about it and you feel every ache and pain and you go through the stuff, or you go, "What's McDonald talking about? A gift." You start looking and you learn compassion, you learn love, and you start praying, you start meditating, and you start spending time with the people that you love in your life. And next thing you know, you're a better person, regardless of what happens to the body. Whatever, it's the body, it's the body. Come on. Expendable. So this whole thing is about you and I and everybody realizing that the divine really knows our needs. Everything that happens to us is ordained not by God. It's ordained by our karma, which we earned, which we created. There are no victims. "Oh, those innocent victims got shot down the street." Well, we don't know how many lifetimes ago maybe that was coming back, right? So for the most part, everything that happens to you, you're responsible for. So once you get that attitude, you go, "Wait a minute, I got cheated. This happened. I lost my job." But if you start looking at everything and saying, "Well, you know what? It all happened as it's supposed to. And apparently I got rid of some karma. That's okay," right? But everybody's here for the same reason. It's a school. You go to school, you learn from your lessons, you practice love. To me, people always ask me, "Well, what's our purpose in life?" To love and serve. They go, "What? That's it?" I said, "Well, you can even narrow it down to just one: to love.
Love.
Serving, loving, you know."
Yes.
And how you do that is you don't look at the world as, "I'm working for my boss, I'm doing this for the country, I'm doing this," whatever it is. If you look at everything that you're looking at in your life as God, in other words, your boss, your company working for, you're working for the boss, you're working for God, the God that's in that boss, right? And so if you work to please that God and serve that God, then everything you do at work is a puja. Everything you do at work is sacred,
Yes.
right?
Absolutely.
And so everybody you relate to, if you see God in everybody, including your enemies. Now realize there are people out there that you got to go, "Well, I don't like them. You're telling me I got to love them." I go, "That's it. You got to love them, but you don't have to like them. And you don't have to spend time with them." There's family members that could drive you crazy. Well, if you're going to be with the family just because if it's an obligation, think twice about that. You know, you should go there because you really want to be there. Or if you're really compassionate, they really need me in their life, whether they want me or not. They need me.
Exactly.
I'm their gift, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm at on this whole thing. And I'm saying it very quickly and easily here, but when I give a workshop, people, they can't just hear that. They want to have 3 days worth of stuff. Oh, we want to be a whole weekend of this stuff, so you make it more elaborate. But bottom line is really this. It's just self-love. And if the self is really God, then you're just loving God. I mean, let's make it as simple as possible. It's just all about loving God.
Yeah. Well, that's a great advice, and I know that this conversation will help a lot of people who will watch this video. And so maybe Bill, just to summarize whatever you said about, first, if you have some pain, you can diminish it greatly by this technique, what you said, with love and light and healing. You touch your part or whatever, and then there is another technique which you mentioned, which is also involves the energization exercises. You mentioned tension, but people who don't know these exercises, they tension is just a vehicle to redirect that energy into the part, and then get that energy moving through the body and healing the other person or healing yourself. And then everything is love, light, white light, and this is absolutely so. Do you yourself, maybe people, if they want to find you to learn more about these techniques, and you
Yeah,
can,
because in the springtime or the summer, I'm probably going to have some free online webinars, which I will,
yeah,
take up to 100 people, I guess I could probably put on there and teach this technique. People are always looking for something more complicated. It's like,
yeah,
it's like
yeah,
I got a lot of friends that they practice Kriya Yoga and they wonder, well, I've been practicing Kriya Yoga 40 years. How come I ain't changed? And you look at them, they haven't changed. I said, well, if you focused all on the technique
yeah,
and nothing about loving the divine, you're not opening the door.
exactly.
And so with life, if you focus all on life and not on love, you don't open any doors. So
Yeah, yeah,
that's it. We're here to love.
exactly. Love is the most important thing, and God is love. God is the ocean of love and an ocean of bliss. So until we merge with that love and with that bliss, we are never going to be satisfied. So that's the most important thing. We are part of Him, and we long for that love. And only this is the way to heal and to live. So, well, Bill, I want to thank you so much for this webinar, for this interview, and if people want to find you, where they can find you to learn, or to, if they want to ask you some questions or something about.
There's two ways. I got a YouTube video channel.
Okay.
Has well over 1 million viewers. I don't know how people find me that interesting, but
Yeah.
they do. So I got people out there watching them, and it's just Rev Bill McDonald, just like you see on the
Okay.
title
Yeah.
on this screen here. If they type that into YouTube,
Yeah.
they'll have hundreds of videos
Yeah.
that are on other people's channels like yours.
Yes. Yes.
And then I have my own channel, which would be Rev Bill McDonald, and I got probably 150 on there.
Yeah.
Stories, but always about a lesson. Always try to tie everything together, and that's one way. And if they want to send me an email, Huey, HUEY 576 at gmail.com. So it's Huey 576 at gmail.com. That's the two best ways to get a hold of me. And I'm on Facebook. If they want to Facebook friend me, have them do so.
Okay.
Rev Bill McDonald on Facebook. I'm pretty easy to find. So if they want to read my books, they're on Amazon. My books will be in German, not Bulgarian yet, so I'm sorry, but they'll be in German this year,
Okay.
the next couple months, and they'll be in Spanish after that, and then either Portuguese or French. I'm not sure after that, but I'm starting to get those out in foreign languages where there's a a cry out form and request, I'll take a look at that and see that's where I want to do the language there. But I'm here. I get up at 3, 4 in the morning and I counsel people around the world until the end of the day, about 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening. And I turn off my television, I turn off my phone, and I go, that's it, fam. I can spend time with the wife.
Yeah, of course.
So, anyway,
we have to balance.
We will talk again.
Okay, that's.
So if the people in your group, if they want to do a satsang and they got a lot of questions,
Yeah.
they can give you the questions and
Okay.
I don't need them ahead of time. We'll hit them as they go. What's off the top of my head? I don't prepare for anything.
Okay. Well,
so we'll do the next time.
Yes, that's great. I will prepare if there is some questions, and we can, go over some things, and that would be absolutely great. And I want to thank you again for your time, and it's an invaluable information. People, I know that this will help a lot of people. As you said, it's not the words, it's not the technique, it's the love and the vibrations which we put forth, which will help these people. As Yogananda, when a disciple asked him, because Yogananda asked, how did you like my book? And he said, it was great, sir. I just loved it. And Yogananda said, that's because I put my vibration in it, my vibrations. And that's why this book is so. This book was written like 70 years ago or something like that.
It was written the year I was born.
Oh, 1946. Yeah. And till this day, this book is changing every day, millions and millions of lives, and continues to do so. It's because it's not because only the words, it's because the vibrations of this great master are there. So the same way, when you want to heal somebody, as you said, the vibrations and the love which you emanate is not the technique only. These two things combined. As Yogananda said once, Kriya plus devotion, which is love, works like mathematics. It cannot fail. So love and devotion and the technique. So thank you so much, Bill, for this. Namaste, and we will talk the next time.
God bless.
God bless you. Bye-bye.